Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Bison Workshop. I'm Bob. And today is a rainy, nasty frickin' day. Well, last night was rainy. It rained so hard, the water was up to the step on my shop. And I'll show you that. Hope y'all got your trunk coffee before you click watch. But see that log right there? That's come from upstream somewhere. And it was up to my bumper of my truck. Both my rear ends was underwater. Now I'm concerned that water has seeped into my rear ends because the front rear end needs seals on the one side, because if I park to an angle, it'll leak out of my rear end. So I have to keep it level. So I'm worried that water got in my rear end. It was hanging there long enough to cause me problems. But I almost stepped into water right here when I stepped out. So anyway, now I got to get my eyes adjusted again. Anyway, we've got this thing tore apart. I've got a problem with the two driver side tires. The front one has a hole in the sidewall in the front, and the back one I don't know. It may have a hole in it too, but they've got a slow leak. So I've been cleaning it up. As you can see, this is what it looks like now before I messed with it. All this nasty stuff down in there. And we're cleaning it out. I've got this somewhat clean. I still got to go over the center there, and probably going to put some paint on that bar right there. I'm not going to go to extremes, but I'll get a little, scrape that off because it's starting to flake rust off of it. So I want to get that taken care of before it migrates into the rest of the frame. So we want to get that stopped. I've found several problems. I mean several problems. Number one, we removed the battery. It used to go in this little hole right here, and you didn't have no room to put jumper cables on if you ever needed to jump or need to jump somebody. So I moved that and moved it up front here. So I put it down in here and ran my cables from here back to there. And I used jumper cables for my wires. And this is the winch with the power button, remote control. They're in the glove box. And this was the only winch that I had. So I went ahead and got a new cable for it. This is only about 5 feet. 5 or 6 feet. And it's all tore up and gives me splinters, so I got to replace that. I need a fair lead on it. The one I wanted to put on it, I couldn't put on it for 2 reasons. It was too big, and it was too noisy. This one's not very noisy. So I've got the hood off of it, and I got to make a new plate for here. I'll probably make that out of aluminum and put slide clips on it that's threaded, and put an aluminum one here. I got to make a battery hold down to keep this from moving side to side and whatever. And this is all cleaned up. It all looked just like that right there. All of it. Let me find this dirty spot here that I haven't touched. Well, this is what it looked like right there. And you can see remnants of it right there. Alright, so then I started I had to put a new ignition switch in it. So now I'll show you what I've got going on. Everything on the dash is working. It sounds funny when it first starts off. It's got that rattly sound to it, but this is what shows everything. So I figured out what a lot of this stuff is. That one has the high, this is the headlight switch, says low beam, high beam, off. And it even indicates the high beam when you have it high beam on the dash. This one here is the four-wheel drive. You push it, the top of it, and it changes it to four-wheel drive. You can hear the actuator. This one is the differential lock. I think it's on a cable. So I found where the starter was hitting against the starter wire, where it was hooked to the wire was hooked to the starter, and it was hitting up against the timing chain tensioner head, and it was shorting out. It was shorting out so bad that it also melted the hose that pulses the fuel pump right down here next to it. So, and that could have been eliminated. That could have never been a problem if somebody would have installed that wire correctly. What they did was they tightened it down and they left it up against the thing, and it vibrated so much that it went through the wire and started shorting out. Well, that leads me to believe that that is the culprit for the problem I'm getting ready to tell you I'm having. Alright, I've got the switch in power, or on. I've got my test light here that does work. So now we're going to test this side by cranking it. And we have nothing. That presents a problem for me because I have no idea what to start checking. I know that all the fuses are good. Every one of them are working. So the only ones that wasn't working was the headlight, and that was because I don't have the headlight on. That one does headlight or low and high beam. This one is high beam only. So that's high beam on the switch, and that's low beam on the switch. So low beam don't go through that switch. Only low beam goes through the first one, or the second one. So what I'm thinking about doing is getting me a Ford solenoid and make my own starter switch, starter wire. I don't know if I'll tie into, just clip that wire and tie into it there and just bypass the whole wire that's going through it. I imagine it's probably broke somewhere. Or I can put a push button start on it. The problem I'm having with that idea is when I do get it started, will I be able to shut it off with the key switch? I'm thinking I should be able to, because the only thing that the start switch, when you turn it all the way to the right, that one is only for the solenoid. So I'm thinking I could just put me a push button starter switch and run my own wires from the battery. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I think I do have a chrome push button switch that I can put here somewhere in a strategic area. probably will want it up here on the dash somewhere. Don't really want to drill on that plastic too much. Wherever I put it, I'd probably want to be putting it somewhere where I won't hit it. But we'll find a place to, hell, I might put the start button in the glove box. Hide that bad boy. Somebody will say, well damn, this thing don't start. They don't know to reach in there and push the button. But I'd rather have a Ford solenoid on this. These old cheap things. I just put a new switch in it. This is the new solenoid that was in the glove box when I got this. So I just assumed it was good. It could be bad. I don't know. I could put the old one back on there and see if it worked. If it don't, then we've got a wire problem somewhere. Cause it ain't unheard of for a cylinder to show up bad. So I blowed out the tubes in it. I got to drain the gas out of it because it's got showing on the meter, if I can see it. Where's my magnifying glass? Should be sitting right here. Right there it is. It's showing three bars from empty. So it looks like it's probably got about a third of a tank in it. So this thing's set for 3 years with that gas in it, so I would imagine that it ain't no good. It's went through 3 winters and 3 summers. So I got a lot more cleaning to do on the motor. I've been taking gas to go over the motor, and I'm not really going to concentrate on anything down here and below. It's hard to get that stuff off of that aluminum. It's that old mud stuff. It's like a mud or a clay mud. And when that stuff gets all over everything, man, you don't wash it, it's gonna harden. So I got some more tubes here to clean up, get them cleaned up, get some more hoses cleaned up, get these wires cleaned up and fixed to where they don't move around. And I'm rerouting some of the wiring. Got the starter wire right there so that it's not hitting nothing, so if it does happen to come on like it's supposed to, it don't short out. I've checked both of these wires on this, and I'm not getting anything. So yep, I still got power. Now, there is one thing on the fuse panel that I'm not certain about that could be a culprit. There's a diode on there, but I don't know what the hell that diode is for. It plugs in almost like a fuse. Well, it does plug in like a fuse. Now I can't even hit the frickin' hole. Nope, didn't fix nothing. So, I'm not sure about this diode. If it's a diode, and it says diode on it, I did reverse that after I seen I didn't have no power, but I wonder if I messed up. Let me see here. Does that have a direction on it? No, it just says diode. So I don't know if, let's reverse that and see if that'll change anything. So, no, it didn't change a thing. Now it's back the way it was when I first got it. So I don't know what the hell's going on with the starter. I had to get another starter because where it had heated up and melted, and it just ruined the end of it, of the bolt, which I think it's over there. And when I went to try to take the nut loose, it twisted the whole thing and broke all the plastic inside of it that keeps it from hitting the body. And the bolt broke off, or the stud broke off. So I had to get another starter. I ordered a filter kit for it, and it came with a new spark plug. Came with this spark plug and 2 fuel filters. So I went to go put the spark plug in, and guess what? That spark plug is 5/8. This year is 11/16. The 11/16 socket fits this, but won't fit that hole that goes down in there for this to go down into. So they sent me the wrong spark plug. So I ended up cleaning the one that's in it and sanding the contacts and put it in there and wrote them a Dear John letter. So I'm still waiting on the exhaust gasket for the manifold. It has stalled in York, Pennsylvania, and it's been there for 3 days. Yeah, I'm not very happy with these people. Everything is moving slow. So I'm just taking advantage of the time that I don't have my parts to do all this cleaning, so I can get this thing looking like it deserves the attention. It does deserve the attention. But a lot of this stuff that's happened to this was neglect and not knowing what they was doing. So I'm hoping that I can patch that tire. It's got a pretty decent hole in it. It's right in the sidewall too, man. It's got a piece of, let me see here if I can show you. Got a chunk coming out of it right here like that, and there's a hole there. So I'm going to try to use a patch, but it's so close to the bead, I don't know if a patch is going to work. But I got to take the tire off. So I think what I'm going to do is just keep pumping it up until I can get the extra cash. I'll take it down here to my buddy and have him break them down, fix them. Who knows, maybe I'll sell that generator and get enough money to buy me 2 tires. Take the 2 original ones and put them on the back that do hold air, and put the 2 new ones on the front. But we still got a lot of cleaning to do, and we gotta do all these bars. Now the hood is a different story. I'm trying to figure out a way to use the grill out of the original plastic, because it's busted on both sides. Both sides of the headlights are busted. So I want to try to use some of the hood, but then introduce some aluminum to it. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. I can make a piece of aluminum to fit over top of this all the way out and just make it about that long on both sides and bend it down, and then wherever it comes to I can do a design here on the bottom, but it would be bent at an angle, something like, not quite as sharp as that, but it would come out here to about right here in this corner. And then we could try to use the original grill. I don't know, I might make a grill for it. I could probably just make a grill for it out of aluminum. And I may have some stuff here that might work. Now, I've got some of this stuff right here, and that piece is big enough to put right there. Paint it black, of course. I think that would look alright. Because a piece to put right there. And we can have it come on down there to almost the bumper. And then we only have 3 sides we got to worry about. The top and the 2 sides. Just got to figure out how to get them to mount to it. But I want it to mount to the frame itself. Because I want it to be durable. All these are coming off. I'm probably going to make those out of aluminum also. So there's going to be a lot to do to this thing. And I have this shop totally messed up. I got the floor pan out of it sitting there in my way. So it's not actually been that much fun of a job because I'm dealing with the atmosphere too. You got rain, and it's just hard to do anything when you're so depressed. And I'm gonna make new aluminum A-arm frame or shields for all 4. I think the back one has them too. Yep. Then again, they're not broke. I might just leave them there. I don't think any of them's broke. Let me look at them. I'll give you the skinny right now. No, I'm going to keep them on there. Might even leave them green. I could probably cut a piece out of this hood. I'm wondering if it wouldn't be possible to just take and cut that off right there, straight across, right at the top of these here gussets. Cut that right across there. And put a piece of aluminum on it that will come out and go over top of the screen that I'll have. See, that's busted there too. If that wasn't busted, I could probably have used this grill and just bolted to this. I'm thinking about making this hood lift this way. I don't know yet. I might make it hinge this way. I got some piano hinge. We can use piano hinge on it if we make it fold this way. We can put a piano hinge here somewhere, because the grill, I want it to be separate. I want the 2 fenders to be separate. So I could just take and do a straight with just aluminum, put a panel here, and then take some other material and make some fenders out of it. We'll figure it out, but I'm not going to mess with this thing. This thing's trash as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to get the springs out of it But I was thinking I could take and cut that down right there, straight up to that corner. That would get rid of all the bad stuff on both of them. But I can't do it because of that piece there missing. And then I could have just built something around the headlights, or even changed the headlights for that matter. I might just make it a wrap around and mount the headlights on the brush guards. LED lights. But these lights work. Who knows? I don't know what I'm going to do until I do it. When I get started figuring things out how I can make it work. Anyway, I think that's about it. I'm going to try to use bucket seats in it. I'm going to try to see if my buddy, he's got a bunch of old junk cars up there at his house, and I'm going to see if I can't try to wheel and deal with him on a set of bucket seats. Because I believe a set of bucket seats would fit in this. Because I'm going to remake the center console. That I'm going to do it out of aluminum. I just don't know how I'm going to do it yet. It's going to be interesting. But that dog box has got a big bust out of it. Where did I see that? I just seen them. Oh. Well, I showed it to you in the last video. But you gotta make a mess, guys. Oh, we have to replace the CV boots on the front also. Got 2 of those. So I gotta take the front end apart, and I believe there's something wrong with that side over there, because when I was moving the thing back and forth, something wasn't right. I think I have a bearing bad in that one. Why not, right? Let's just add more fuel to the fire. I'm gonna put an aluminum top on it, and I can't afford a windshield, so that ain't never gonna happen. So I just can't drive it on a rainy day. I normally don't anyway, unless I absolutely have to. But it would be nice to have a windshield and a top on it. Until something comes along, if it never comes along, I can't make it happen. So, but a windshield and a top would be good. I'm definitely going to put a top on it. I've got a big enough sheet of aluminum that I can take and start right here and go all the way across to the other side to the same spot. And I'll just pop rivet it on with a seal underneath of it and put some silicone on it before we put it down. Pop rivet it and clean up the silicone, and it should be sealed. Anyway, hope you guys seen something in here that you've been looking to see how it was. That's what I do when I watch a YouTube video. I'm not looking to see how they did it. I'm looking at something else. I want to see what is supposed to be there and what's not supposed to be there. And if what I have is not supposed to be there, I need to figure out what's supposed to be there. So when they pan their camera around, I'm pausing it wherever they show that scene, and it tells me how to do my stuff. So YouTube's a tool for me. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Later.